These guys, by the way, these flying predators, if you were to try to use against a shotgun, the flamethrower would be useless against that thing in this case because it's range. And so he's got to find a much longer range weapon to use against it, like the assault rifle or the rocket launcher. And the rocket launcher, which does an enormous amount of damage, but has a really slow refire rate, and you can't really run with it because you have to actually be stopped. You'll notice that his crosshair has these little lines that moved in. That's going to be your accuracy that for each kind of tool you're using takes a little time to sink in before you have high accuracy. So one of the best ways to fight like this other monster called a Kale, which is a hand-to-hand fighter only, and the best way to fight it is to run away, pull out your pistol, and shoot while backing up to keep it from getting to you, because once it engages you in hand-to-hand, it's actually difficult to beat. Now he's headed across. He's got the main plans. He's basically headed back to human base. Most MMPs also require you to traverse a lot of territory over and over again. And a lot of them would try to put in things like mounts or ships or other things to get you there faster, but they still often make you traverse the terrain, even if at a faster rate. I think it's a big mistake. I'm a big believer in waypoints, where once you've explored an area once, let them find a waypoint and let them now just instantly teleport to the places he's more familiar with, versus have to go back and forth and back.
Is that more of an ability element or a magical element?
That's an ability, yeah. So all of our abilities are. I've spent a lot of time crafting what I'll call the science fiction elements of our backstory, to make sure that in my mind, one of the big differences between science fiction and fantasy. In a fantasy, it's okay to be at the bad guy's castle and go, oh look, a magic wand, we've solved the problem. And whereas in a science fiction, you want to have as few cheats to reality as possible and make sure they're used consistently and have a reasonable scientific basis. And so I worked very hard on things like, what you'll see coming up here is the history and language and culture of the Elo, our primary alien race. And also on the science of how things like wormholes work to let you travel around the galaxy, and how these waypoints work to let you teleport around the world, and how even a lot of the science of the tools and technology and special abilities work. And that'll come out a lot through gameplay. But similarly, like this symbolic language that I've created for the game, and this is a fully developed language. For example, if you follow along, I can teach you the language here right now. It's not that hard to do. Like that says a long, it's two arrows pointing away from each other. It's a long. Time ago, time in the past, a long time ago, our civilization grew upon a planet that was in the past a far travel into the stars. So long ago, our civilization grew on a planet that was a long journey into the stars. And if we go around the other sides of this, all of the art and architecture of the Elo contains clues about their history and their civilization, scrawled all over it in a language that's actually pretty easy to read, regardless of whether you speak English or French or Japanese or Korean, which was kind of the goal of the exercise. And if you want to head further up the path, part of the game involves collecting these logo stones that have this language in it, and collecting them to a tablet that starts out blank, as in a Tabula Rasa. And as you collect those symbols, you learn, not only do you learn the language, so you can read this material that's around the game, but that's also how you gain your special powers, is through your understanding of this mystical language and abilities.
Are you going to have anywhere on, like, say, a website or even in-game where you can actually use that language?
Absolutely, absolutely. We've already begun to leak out some of the symbols actually publicly, and we're going to have this little challenge going for people to help decipher the language and things like that too.
That's cool.